dealing with a lot of storm damage from the weekend. It was a busy weekend for you guys.
Very busy. We've had storms since late last week. We were here all night, and then, of course, Justin was here last night with our storm trackers, and now this morning, Jim Gardner and Bob Mills, Sky News 9, he's up and about because he's looking at that damage that's taking place just north of the metro. And Jim, it looks like you see a roof that's not supposed to be there. Going to give us an update.
Well, that's right, Cassie. This is the roof from the First Baptist Church that skipped across and landed on this house. I mean, dead center. Landed on that house along with some trees there. So those people got a rude wake-up call as it skipped. It knocked a hole in the Pioneer telephone building right there. But that's where the roof came from, is off that First Baptist Church right there, and then flew to the east, west to east. Now, over to the west on Cemetery Road, just south of 51, you can see all the OG&E trucks right there in the center of your screen. There are 11 power pole, high tension power poles. What I mean by high tension, they're carrying the big lines, the big three wire lines, not small feeder lines, but there are 11 of those large power poles down from 51 southbound along Cemetery Road there. So that's the damage up here in Hennessy. Jim Gardner reporting live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jim. Now let's go to Links 1. I'm going to show you where all the storm reports that came in just over the past 24 hours ended up. Again, a lot of that just staying north of I-40, but lots of wind, lots of hail in northwest Oklahoma, and wind gusts. We had that 89 mile an hour just right over Marshall. We had a 65 just west on 40 west of El Reno, and then we had lots of 60, around 60 mile an hour wind gusts around Stillwater. So obviously our mesonet sites had the 89, but there's still going to be those wind gusts that were actually recorded. But looking at power outages, still thousands of customers without power. We've got 400 customers out there in Ellis County, but 1,000 up there in Kingfisher County alone, over 300 customers in Oklahoma County. Looking at the rain, that's always a nice thing to see. Most of it falling in parts of north central, northeastern Oklahoma, but some isolated spots picking up a decent amount just west of I-35. Oklahoma City coming in under 1/4 of an inch with just the past few days. Now, looking at NextGen Live right now, things are a lot quieter than what we were experiencing yesterday evening and into the overnight hours. Right now, we still have some light rain just to the south and east, and also just south of Muskogee. So zooming in a little bit closer, a little shower there kind of dying and falling apart between Neuala and Pink, and also just north of Little. Everything's moving off to the east, and eventually we will be dry for the afternoon. This is our OCCC camera, but our Lucky Star Skycam network. We're at 72 degrees, a north wind right now at 10 miles an hour. Dew points in the low 60s. It feels really nice. Upper 70s across the north. We still have 60s in the Panhandle, but some 80s showing up across the Red River with that north wind between about 15 to 25 miles an hour. This is fantastic. We're about 17 degrees cooler than where we were this time yesterday. Lots of locations anywhere between about 15 to as much as around 25 degrees cooler. And even this morning we ended up in the upper 60s, but we had some 50s showing up in the Panhandle. If you can imagine that, low 60s in the northwest, still 70s in the south and east. But overnight tonight, even better weather is coming. So the cold front now to the south and east, lots of excessive heat warnings along the Gulf Coast. And the Gulf Coast will become a little bit more active here over the next several days, but here at home, it's going to stay nice and quiet for at least the next couple of days. I say it's going to be nice and quiet. It's going to be nice, but eventually it's not going to be that great. The heat dome, summer's just not over yet. It's coming back. By the time we get into Thursday into Friday, temperatures back in the upper 90s. Can't rule out some low 100s as we get into the weekend. So heat dome not going anywhere anytime soon. But again, the tropics becoming a little bit more active, and eventually maybe we can get some of this rain to move in here by about midweek of next week. We'll see if that happens. But if we were, then that would push temperatures back down. So something to look forward to. Today, though, looking for a high of about 83 degrees in Oklahoma City, the upper 70s in Woodward, 81 in Enid, 87 in Ada, but still looking at those mid 90s across the far south and southeast. And again, the rain's ending later this afternoon. Overnight tonight, we're dropping down to about 61 degrees in Oklahoma City, but the upper 50s in Ponca City, 62 in Clinton. If we were to get down to 59 degrees, that would be a record low that was originally established back in 1992. Tomorrow afternoon, mid-80s across north, but 83 in Tulsa, 86 in Ada, 92 degrees in Ardmore. Wednesday, back in the upper 80s here in Oklahoma City. 90s returning out west, 100 degrees, though, out in Guyman. But as we get into Thursday, again, the heat dome's back. 97 on Thursday, 97 on Friday. And by the time we get into the weekend, we're going to be right around 100 degrees for both Saturday and Sunday. Next week, temperatures slowly go back down, but for now, it still looks hot.
All right. Enjoy the nice weather while we can.
Yeah.